We all pray for a country that is peaceful and prosperous. But God allows us, by our voting, to show him whether we mean the prayers we pray or not. You cannot wish this country well and vote for someone you do not believe in.
Vice President is right for saying that. Nigeria is one of the largest religious countries in the world. We have the largest church auditorium in the world here in Nigeria. But these our prayers every now and then, from morning prayers to midnight prayers, has not translated into any form of any kind of development. But wait a minute, maybe what the prayer has done is at least keeping the country from not escalating into war or any form of devastating issues. But what can be more devastating than what we have presently in Nigeria? This is the belief of some of those spiritual fathers and mostly Christians. But this is not even the issue here. The president was in Netherlands, and unfortunately the private jet, Nigerian presidential jet, had a fault, and that he was forced to charter a private flight from Netherlands to Saudi Arabia. You know, according to the report, we learned that this presidential fleet has been having some little hitches here and there, even right from Muhammadu Buhari's administration, of which they have spent over $800 million in maintaining this particular presidential jets. But then many believe that this is more like wasting of money, and it is the obvious truth. Now, many Nigerians, if the president said that he's going to buy a presidential jet now, all of us will say no, people are hungry, you should look at that first. But you have a lot of fleets, so sell them first and then go to buy another one, or you are buying another one, then you sell, because we don't want to witness any form of horrible news that our beloved president have a plane crash with all these hitches here and there. Do not forget that Osinbajo survived it in Kogi State in 2019. Away from that, while in Saudi Arabia, the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu emphasized on the reason why the fuel subsidy was removed. And talking about this fuel subsidy removal, we have seen that the government has returned back to payment of fuel subsidy. So I wonder which of the fuel subsidy removal that he is talking about in Saudi Arabia there. And he even made it known that he did that so that the country don't go bankrupt.
Thank you very much. Salam alaikum. For Nigeria, we are immensely consistent with our belief that the economic collaboration and inclusiveness is necessary to engender stability in the rest of the world. Concerning the question of the subsidy removal, there's no doubt that it was a necessary action for my country not to go bankrupt. One, to reset the economy and the pathway to growth.
May somebody tell me what is the happen for Nigeria right now, because I don't really get what Tinubu is saying there in Riyadh. But the truth of the matter is this: you remove fuel subsidy, and all of a sudden we are seeing fuel queue every corner of the country. The masses are suffering. They talk about also reaching out to the most vulnerable people. And we saw how the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs looted over 500 billion. You know, so how have they been able to even reach the most vulnerable people in Nigeria since the removal of the fuel subsidy? And in fact, when you look at how these people work and think, sometimes you begin to ask yourself if actually they have brain or they are thinking from their bottom. Because you don't go ahead to spend over $1 billion in order to feed people when you can actually invest that $1 billion where it can create job and then indirectly feed the same people but they continue to spend money that will not return. When you invest in agriculture and invest in tech, you will have a return, and the people will get job, and the suffering in the country will reduce. Dollar as of today is almost 1,500, and with all the speculation here and there, you cannot strengthen your economy and your currency when you are producing nothing. So you continue to borrow money and use it to feed when you don't have any plan in order to make any form of production to pay back that which you have borrowed. Nigeria is already bankrupt, except there is something you don't know. They removed fuel subsidy and they were buying SUVs. They removed fuel subsidy and they were buying presidential yachts. They removed fuel subsidy and they were doing all manner of things that don't really make any sense. Anyway, I leave this take for you. Let's have your conversation at the comment section. Thank you for watching.
It is going to be difficult, but the hallmark of leadership is taking difficult decisions at the time it ought to be taken.